Welcome back to coverage of the Neon Dynasty Championship. It's lower finals time. Ailey Loney alongside Mani Devuti. And my friend, we're about to put someone into the championship matchup. Who do you think it's gonna be?
I've got to root for Eli Kassis. His loss in this top 8 was to Yudai Miyano, but I really do think that this Venture deck does have the edge against the Cleric deck. So I'm going to back Eli, and maybe he can get it done this time around.
Let's jump straight into the matchup here. Yudai Miyano versus Eli Kassis. Esper Clerics versus Orzhov Venture. Can't wait to see what happens here. Both of these players eager to make it into that championship match, but of a decent consolation prize, I'd say, in that these two have already qualified for the World Championships. So let's see if they can take it one step further.
Yeah, decent hand from Eli here. Has a turn 1 duress to get rid of that Vanishing Verse or Wandering Emperor. Now finds a Valky on turn. He's like, please have something. And yeah, you hit Eli. Look at that. I think that's the most emotion we've seen from Eli's camera all day is we see the hit, and you've got to be pretty happy in a deck that is playing essentially entirely creatures, Eli. I'm looking at this list. There's 2 Wandering Emperor, 2 Pyre of Heroes, 2 Vanishing Verse, and nothing. So Eli's chances, there were 6 cards. It was very, very low to hit a spell there, and getting one feels really good. Now you have your choice of 2-drop for the next turn, whether it's Valky to take away this Glasspool Mimic from the opponent, though you're not overly worried about it because they can't cast it and there's nothing good to target anyways. Get Adventure out there, your opponent can't Vanishing Verse it, can trade with this Cleric of Lifespawn, and yeah, this is a pretty good start, I would say, for the Venture deck.
It isn't that. Very much unlike turn 1 duress into oops, all creatures in the previous round against Johnny Gutman, so I understand that smile. It makes it's a feel good there for Eli Kassis. Just the attack here with a Lunarch Veteran. Not too sad to see this die, as it does come back as an evasive flyer from the graveyard. So
Yudai has to think about this one because Eli's definitely not trading with the veteran. But if Yudai doesn't put pressure on Eli's going to feel free to just attack with this adventurer and start venturing into the dungeon. So it's really no good options there for Yudai, as attacking or not attacking both feel bad. And yeah, I think Eli's pretty happy about how the start of this game is going.
Yeah, Archon of Emeria, I'm guessing it may well die on the end step here, but Eli will be super happy to see Vanishing Verse go bye-bye, so that Valky, if he decides to play that as a creature, will be safe for the time being.
The Esper Clerics deck so badly wants to be drawing and casting an Inquisitor Captain on the next turn. Makes it so Yudai is a bit incentivized, especially with the powerful 3-drops available in the deck as well, to just fire off this Vanishing Verse now, get rid of the Archon to allow himself to capitalize on any card he draws off the top, and really hoping for a castable 3-drop here, whether it is the Captain or something else, and unfortunately just finds a Shattered Sanctum.
Yeah, not what he was hoping for off the top of the library there, so it's just gonna have to keep chipping away here with this Lunarch Veteran. 1 point of damage, 17 turn clock. You can do it, little buddy.
Oh, my goodness.
Hey now.
This game is going perfectly for Eli because he got that Vanishing Verse out of the hand. He knows about this Mimic, gets to get this adversary down with a counter, maybe attack with an Adventurer now if he wants because he's in racing mode. And the biggest draw is Lisa. Lisa, I said how huge it is against mono white. It's equally huge, if not more so, against this Esper Clerics deck. Really no real way for Yudai to get rid of it once it's on the battlefield. We talked about how it's safe from that Skyclave Apparition, of which there's only 1 copy in Yudai's main deck. Vanishing Verse doesn't hit it. Wandering Emperor, as long as you don't attack, doesn't hit it. And I think there is a very real chance that Yudai just concedes this game when this Lisa comes down, because I don't really know if he can come back from it.
Looking at the main deck configuration, I agree with you there. It's darn near impossible unless he's able to string together a massive voice of the hashtag blessed. Something like that, just to get in the way of this angel or threaten lethal with it. But at this stage of the game, doesn't look like it.
Yeah, let's turn sideways. Let's venture deeper. And Yudai is just looking through his list, thinking, how do I get out of this one? There's no brutal Cathars in this list to try to answer this Lisa. No removal spells whatsoever outside of this Wandering Emperor. And feeling really good right now for Ely.
Ely looking good here in game number 1 in the lower finals of the Neon Dynasty Championship. If he picks up this victory or this win in game 1, he'll be one step closer to meeting Zach Dunn in the finals. Cleric of Life's Bond drawn at the top here for Yudai, so get some more counters, get some more life gain, could maybe buy him some time, but time is running out with this massive threat on the battlefield.
Not only that, we do see that Ely has a treasure token and a copy of Valky in hand. So with one more land, of which the Hive of the Eye Tyrant won't do it because it comes into play tapped at this point, Ely can just deploy Tybalt as another threat that the Esper Clerics deck will have a very difficult time answering. And now, by playing Nadar here, going for either the, I want to say fungal cavern? Fungi cavern, sorry.
Fungi.
Or the Dark Pool, able to now attack with the Adventure, complete the dungeon, which means Nadar will start pumping the rest of the team even further, and this game is so far gone now for Yudai Miyano.
Very much so. Even if there is a Wandering Emperor off the top of the library, the rest of the team look more than capable of getting this game won and done here. 6 unanswered damage in the air, 4 getting through there with a Triumphant Adventurer.
Yeah, Emperor comes down, exile this Lisa, and then what? As now Precipitous Drop, -5, -5, unlocked here as well. Get rid of another creature, and Yudai just nods his head. You know, he 2-0'd Ely. He 2-0'd Ely there in the upper bracket. Not gonna look like that this time around, as Ely takes the first game decisively.
Oh yeah, back with a vengeance with this Orzhov Venture deck. I mean, it just played out perfectly for him there. He had everything he needed at the exact right times, and this Lisa Forgotten Archangel just delivering the final nail in the coffin here for Yudai Miyano in game number 1.
Look, I'm not one for superstition. I'm not one for omens and that sort of thing. But I think when you turn one duress, the Clerics deck in the first game, and you hit a spell, that's an omen that good things lie ahead there for the Venture deck. And I think Ely knew it as well. A player who we don't normally see much emotion from on the camera. We see just the happiest smile.
Yeah, that's gonna feel good because a lot of these decks, you know, they don't have the perfect matchup against every single archetype. There's gonna be some duds. There's gonna be cards that just do absolutely nothing. So getting value off of one of those cards, yeah, that's a win in and of itself.
So I'm very surprised that if we look at the sideboarding on the side, Ely doesn't end up bringing in Meathook Massacre in this matchup, which would very much shock me. I feel like that's something that he's still thinking about because Meathook Massacre pretty good at wiping away boards of creatures. Perhaps the thinking is cards like Voice of the Blessed and Cleric of Lifespawn are going to get out of hand too easily in terms of counters. Even the Righteous Valkyrie, Ely's deck doesn't do a great job of pressuring the opponent's life total. So perhaps just thinking all of these creatures are going to make sure that the board is out of hand for me. So this might be one of the key differences we're seeing in the matchup between this Venture deck against something like mono white aggro compared to this Cleric deck is Meathook Massacre, normally one of your best cards, just isn't good enough in this matchup.
Yeah, we've seen a couple times over the course of the weekend how large these creatures get. You know, it gets to the point where they just outscale your mana generation, so let's see if this decision pays off here for Eli Kassis as we take a look at the opening hands. Not too shabby. Up top, an untapped white source would be wonderful to get that Voice of the Blessed down reliably on turn 2.
Yeah, both hands feel a little bit off. I think Yudai's hand certainly a lot better and worth keeping. Yes, you don't have the dream 1 Lunarch Veteran, 2 Voice of the Blessed, 3 Righteous Valkyrie draw that you would like, but if you're able to find an untapped white source for that second turn, or if you just forego the Lunarch Veteran, this hand can just play out really well. For Ely, the double drop is there, but double Connoisseur, not exactly what you want in a one land hand. And I like this mulligan. This one looks a lot better. You have a turn one tap land into drop or adventure, so good hands for both players going into the second game.
Let's get the game underway. Lunarch Veteran on the board here. Yudai Miyano would love to see a Plains off the top of the library to get that Dream Curve into Voice of the Blessed, Righteous Valkyrie, and then the fourth land for Inquisitor Captain or the Wandering Emperor. Hive the Eye Tyrant. Very nice draw here for Eli Kassis, though.
Yeah, I would have loved to see Ely open up on the Shattered Sanctum just to make sure he still has the untapped Hive for the second turn, but it would give him the option to not play Iganjo on the second turn if he doesn't want to and maybe hold it a bit longer. But as things stand, he's still able to play the Adventurer here as a blocker for the Voice of the Blessed. We see why this 1-2 curve is so annoying from Yudai, because this Precipitous drop already not able to answer Voice, and because Yudai found that third land, this curve is insane, and one more land means that Ely's going to be in a ton of pain.
Oh, yes, indeed. There's another Graveyard Trespass off the top of the library. Oh, I think it's time to get venturing.
Yeah,
Nadar, want to come and help us out here, buddy?
I think Ely needs to play Nadar and actually venture into the dungeon to make a treasure token just to make sure that Connoisseur is online. He also needs to complete this dungeon as quickly as possible because he needs that Precipitous drop to be a full -5/-5 rather than just a -2/-2.
Yeah, and also now he's under pressure to keep that life total below 27, because if it goes above that, Righteous Valkyrie goes, "Hey, team, would you like a good old boost?" And at that point, ooh, it's bad news bears for Kassis.
This draw is massive. If it's a land, I don't know if Eli Kassis has the time to come back against what is essentially the ideal curve from Esper Clerics. Turn 1 Lunarch Veteran, turn 2 Voice of the Blessed, turn 3 Righteous Valkyrie.
Oof.
That's not it. That is not it. And Eli Kassis gets a lot of time because of that. It's really unfortunate for Yudai Miyano. This deck does not have that many 4-cost cards. This is a good chunk of them, only playing 2 copies of the Wandering Emperor. So this is half of the 4-cost cards in the deck, and really unfortunate draw for Yudai Miyano means that Eli Kassis now has the time to potentially pull back into this game.
Voice of the Blessed and Righteous Valkyrie swinging on in here. Nadar's not going to jump in the way. Kassis will go down to 12. Bright Climb Pathway, Scry to the top there, so let's see what he makes of this turn. Would get 2 extra ventures here into the dungeon, and Nadar is vigilant, so he can hang back on defense.
Yeah, you could shrink one of your opponent's creatures for the next turn here. As well, you're completing your dungeon, so you can use Precipitous Drop, and now that you've completed the dungeon, Nadar is online, is pumping your other creatures to Triumphant Adventure is a 3/2, so negating some of that life gain, making sure that Yudai is staying at a reasonable life total, and now Ely has the choice to just drop Connoisseur, knowing the opponent certainly has a 4-cost card in hand, or just go drop, get rid of the Valkyrie, plus Graveyard Trespasser for another Adventurer.
Yeah, this feels pretty good now for Kassis, as he's gonna go straight back into Lost Mine of Phandelver.
No more
All
lands. We're
access
good
pass
now.
to that mine.
Yeah, this is... Oh, Yudai needs a land, and Yudai needs a land fast.
You got it.
That's it.
There you go.
All right. Okay. Game is back on. Yudai can still be competitive here. These Inquisitor captains need to put in some work. I don't think the Wandering Emperor is quite good enough yet, and finds another Valkyrie. Okay. All right. We're still in it.
Ooh, Nelly. All right, Valkyrie back on the board, and now Voice of the Blessed is flying. This is what I was talking about in game number 1. If this guy gets too many counters on, he is gonna be indestructible. It's also vigilant now, too, so yeah, you got some stuff coming my way. It's all good. Things are looking pretty nice here now for Miyano with that 4th land.
Yeah, having to think back to Ely's decision the last turn to kill the Righteous Valkyrie rather than the Voice of the Blessed before it got out of hand. Righteous Valkyrie, yes, with the life gain that it provides, you can take your life total pretty high, but Ely had a nice offensive force available to him. This Voice of the Blessed puts on a ton of pressure. So I'm a little scared right now for Ely having let that Voice of the Blessed live.
Tense moments here for Kassis as he would love to get this game won and done in a clean 2-0. The Graveyard Trespassers can help him out, just chewing on whatever creatures are hanging out in the graveyards.
Yeah, you
Get some
guys
more
just
gain and
gonna
drain going.
negate all of this damage done with another copy of Inquisitor Captain from hand, and Ely's just not really making headway here against this Clerics deck.
Not right now for sure. His Wandering Emperor gonna end up in the graveyard here with 2 Inquisitor Captains. You gotta think that's the higher upside keep, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna say the hot take is get rid of the Emperor. Your captains are just so much better right now with this Righteous Valkyrie. But Yudai disagrees, decides to just diversify the threats available to him, which is a very reasonable choice. And yeah, Ely's developing more ground creatures, but this life gain is going to get out of hand very quickly.
Yep. Nom 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 nom. Cleric of Lifespawn now drawn off the top here. Inquisitor Captain number 2 looks to be joining the team very shortly. And he would love to find another copy of Righteous Valkyrie or some removal for some of these pesky critters on the battlefield.
Yeah, that's pretty freaking great right here. You're gonna gain a ton of life. You're gonna get a lot of counters on that voice, and I don't like Ely's chances here, Eli. I think we're going to game 3, and Voice of the Blessed. What an absolutely ridiculous 2-drop here.
Oh, it hurts so much. Good grief. 6 points of damage coming through. He could get an attack in with the Valkyrie as well. If he wanted to get this game over and done with super duper quick.
All Yudai's hand was missing was an untapped source of white on that second turn. Finding that just made this game absolutely out of control. And Thraben Exorcism, too little, too late here for Eli Kassis, as yeah, he can get rid of the big voice, but I don't think it's enough to stay in this game.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Not with 2 other flyers already on the battlefield. I don't know if venturing helps him at this point. There is the blood token to try and YOLO into something, maybe get rid of that second Graveyard Trespass, or try and find some removal. I think that's the only way out at this point.
Yeah, he can definitely draw some cards here, try to get rid of both Voice of the Blessed, and hope that the other creatures aren't able to put Yudai over the life total threshold to turn on this Righteous Valkyrie. Currently is a 2/4 flyer. It alone won't be enough to kill you. You do have Vigilance on the Nadar as well, but this is an attack that's saying, okay, I need to draw some cards here and I need them to be good. But Eli needs to make sure that in the process, if he's actually looking for a way to survive here, he's doing so by making sure that he leaves enough blockers for the ground creatures left on the battlefield.
Yeah. Alright, Precipitous Drop, not too shabby.
Drop plus a Fungi Caverns could potentially shrink the 6/6 Voice of the Blessed enough where you're not going to take lethal damage from it this upcoming turn. But Eli might think that it's not enough here, as he is still going to need some help, and I don't know if the help is there.
He's going to head into Dungeon of the Mad Mage there, and a triple block on the Graveyard Trespasser.
Okay. That Voice of the Blessed is gone. Get some damage through. But, oh no, this is really, really tight.
Yeah. So Thraben Exorcism, like you mentioned, can take care of the bigger guy. But then what?
Yeah, Thraben Exorcism needs to get rid of the largest Voice of the Blessed. This Precipitous Drop needs to shrink down the 6/6 Voice of the Blessed, because you're not able to get rid of it.
Yeah. So it's going to be a 1/1.
Gets a Venture here. I believe this is a Scry, so he'll be able to look at what the top card of the library is and whether it's going to help him with that blood token. That's not going to do it. So no help there. Exorcism going to exile the 10/10 Voice of the Blessed, but if Yudai gains basically any life, this game is over. And as we can see, Yudai does have options available to gain some life. Both Cleric of Lifespawn and Lunarch Veteran, thanks to that Righteous Valkyrie, as well as the Cleric.
Yeah, so has the ability to double spell here if he wants to go for the Lunarch Veteran, get that back as a flyer, and get this Cleric down.
Yeah, I think Yudai is just doing the math here. This should be lethal.
That's gonna be it.
Gain the life off the Righteous Valkyrie, gain the Cleric of Life Spawn counter, get the voice counter, and here we go, the Disturb, another Cleric, another 2 points of life, and that means that we are going to game 3.
Whew.
Voice
Eli
of the
did his
Blessed.
best to hang
What a
in there.
card.
This Voice of the Blessed is insane, though. Triggering off every instance of life gain here. Yeah, we might as well take a look at the top card of the library. Let's see if there's anything useful there. And Intrepid Adversary. Not too shabby.
All right, another game 3 here, Ailey. I feel like we've been seeing a lot of these. These matches have been super close. And now for Eli, the saving grace is he's on the play for this third game. He managed to break serve considering he was the lower seed and win the first game. And maybe he's able to snowball this third game away before a curve like that happens from Yudai.
It's interesting again. No consideration for the Meat Hook Massacre, and you can see why. Those creatures just get absolutely huge so fast. That Voice of the Blast is just so good. You know, compared to the other 2-2 there. You got the Cleric of Last Bond, it just says, oh, just once. Only once. But Voice of the Blast is like, nah, hold my beer. Watch how it's done.
That Thraben Exorcism looked very good there. I think Eli wishes that he had more than one copy of that card available to deal with those voices, considering they are the biggest threat out of the Esper Clerics deck.
If I'm honest, I'm surprised to see Thraben Exorcism being played. You know, I'm pretty sure it wasn't brought in for spirits. Just a wild guess.
Well, yeah, it's more of a catch-all card, right? The main mode on it is exile target enchantment, but one of the most relevant things that came up in discussion was actually, again, for the runes deck, not shockingly, and it was, we want a way to make sure we can exile Kami of Transience. And because that creature, not an enchantment, but is a spirit, so Thraben Exorcism did extra work there, and does some extra work here against these spirits as well.
Oh, I like this hand here for Kassis. We've seen a similar one this weekend where I think it was Kassis who just went absolutely ham with the 2 copies of the Triumphant Adventurer.
I believe it was the first game we saw, match we saw today against Jim Davis. It was game 3. Eli was on the play, and it was a similar situation. When you're playing for your tournament life, not in that spot, but in a game 3, and you're on the play, you love to see a hand that has double Triumphant Adventure, as when you're pushing damage, this card is so powerful, and Eli has 2 removal spells to back them up as well. This hand looks terrifying from the Venture deck.
All right, let's get this show on the road. Gonna be using that Hagra Brood Pit as a land, so no mauling this time around. A land off the top of the library for Miyano. He'll be happy to see that, having kept 2 Inquisitor Captains in hand, foregoing the 1-drop. And it's venture time. We're going on an adventure.
It's venture time, and Yudai finds another land that's a pretty useful one in the Iganjo Seat of the Empire, is able to hold on to that in case he finds a different set of lands and can just use that as a spell. But for Eli right now, he just gets to start pushing some damage and venture into this dungeon. And question is,
are we gonna go Mad Mage?
Okay, let's read through Dungeon of the Mad Mage here for Eli. Think about the options. You get the treasure a turn later than you would in Phandelver. You get the scry a turn later. Do you think you need the value that the very last chamber of this dungeon provides that you're going into it? And I like this from Eli. I think he's recognized that this matchup isn't the standard matchup that we're used to seeing from this type of deck.
I like this decision from Eli. TLDR for that dungeon, maximum value.
Yeah, it's long. It's very long, but double adventure on the play is one of the rare situations where you feel pretty good about your ability to get into that dungeon and go all the way through. And oh, this is nice because now with these double Triumphant Adventure attacks, you're able to get that treasure token if you want and get this Connoisseur down here.
Yes, please.
But the big question is, Does Eli want to allow Yudai to untap with this Righteous Valkyrie? Obviously, you do have more removal spells for it, but the unfortunate part is Yudai has 2 Inquisitor Captains, so even if Eli takes 1 here with the CD Stalker Connoisseur, Yudai still has the ability to untap and play another Captain.
I was wondering which removal we'd go for here. It's gonna be Blood Chief's Thirst. Precipitous Drop would make it so it's little. I mean, we're gonna get through the end of this dungeon pretty quick, so it would die eventually, but just using the treasure that turn, using the Blood Chief's Thirst kicked, and now we're gonna see Inquisitor Captain number 1 hit the battlefield. What does it find? Okay, that's actually like one of the worst hits, I would say.
100% agree. That is... Yeah, you see Yudai, a bit of a shake of the head. That is one of the worst things that could have hit in the spot. It doesn't interact with the board in any way. It doesn't provide a good blocker for this Triumphant Adventurer. And Eli's going to continue going deeper. And I think we might see a scry into the Runestone Caverns now.
Yeah, let's exile. Ooh, hi, hello. Yes, good. Ooh, this is exciting.
Yeah,
Precipitous Drop number 2. We're going to clear out some creatures here. This guy is not going to get any counters on him.
This is really nice now, because if Eli just finds 2 cards he can play...
Oh.
No, you have to pay the mana, Eli. You can't play it for free.
Yeah, that would be nice.
that would be a lot nicer, but as things stand, you get rid of this Cleric of Life spawned. You can't play the Lisa. That one's gone, unfortunately. It really hurts to push decline on that one, as that one's gone forever. But a Scry 3 now. Next turn, we're getting the Mad Wizard's Lair. You're going to then be able to play a card without paying its mana cost.
Oh, man, this deck is so cool.
Oh, but imagine if he could have used the Mad Wizard's Lair to cast Lisa. This game would have just ended on the spot if that had happened. Really unfortunate for Eli that that's gone, but you know, it's hard to say. We can't have
it all, okay?
Yeah, it's hard to say unfortunate for Eli in a spot where he's so heavily favored.
So far ahead right now.
Yeah.
This Inquisitor Captain number 2 has so much to do. We are going to go into the Mad Wizard's Lair.
oh no. Woo! Oh no, Eli!
Hello.
Eli!
Icky.
Those are 3 cards I want to draw, and this time I think we're going into Phandelver. We've gotten our value from the Dungeons of the Mad Mage. Yeah, now let's make some shorter dungeons. Oh, 2 more.
Let's go to Annihilation!
The opponent's at 10. Eli is the aggressor here. Oh, I like...
No.
Ooh, Eli?
Come on, yes.
Eli?
Good. Yes!
Yes,
we're doing it. To Annihilation. Let's go. I love it.
I love it. Eli is saying we have gone into the Lost Mines of Phandelver way too many times this tournament.
We're bored. Give us something new to look at.
We are in the lower finals. You know what we need? We need some Tomb of Annihilation. And Tomb of Annihilation is what we're going to get. Power Word Kill can kill the captain, not the Valkyrie there, as it is an angel. However, still has access to the March of Otherworldly Light in order to get rid of that Righteous Valkyrie by exiling a card. And this is just lethal, Eli. It's over. Eli Kassis is booking his ticket to face Zach Dunn in the championship match.
Ooh, Zach Dunn, I hope you are ready for Orzhov Venture. Good game from Yudai Miyano. Absolutely stellar performance from the young man this weekend. Congratulations to him.
Wow.
We're gonna go venturing. We are gonna do some damage. It doesn't really matter what he does at this point, but we still have to. We're gonna finish this. We're gonna finish the dungeon.
Yeah.
It just goes through the
Sandfall Cell. We're gonna Cedric it up here, talk about the card names. I'm gonna lose some life.
And then Cradle of the Death God. Why not?
The first Atropal token that we've seen made this weekend.
One time, Eli Kassis, you beaut. Thank you for giving us such an awesome show and booking your spot in the finals against Zach Dunn. And he doesn't even break a sweat. Look how chill he is.